So I'm Dominic, I'm our broadcaster here, and this is Bryan Bonnell. He was our ace and one of our starting pitchers on the Lake Country DockHounds this season. Bryan, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing tonight?
Great. Awesome to be here. Nice to see everybody out here. I'm ready to get started and have a good night.
And so Bryan was a starting pitcher for us, so you could have gone to 42 of the 50 DockHounds home games this year and never have seen Bryan pitch. So Bryan is a Las Vegas native. He pitched for 3 major league organizations and also pitched internationally in 3 separate countries before coming to the Lake Country DockHounds this year. And one of the coolest parts about Bryan being with the DockHounds was that he was the leader of the pitching staff. For the vast majority of the season, you were the oldest player on the season. What was it like for you to be a leader for this DockHounds team?
You know, it was something I took very personally. I didn't actually expect to take that role. I went into every season in my career as, you know, trying to perfect myself and perfect my craft and just move on up. And then this season there was something different. Just being independent ball my first year, I bonded together with the guys around me and wanted to just help them along the way and help give my insights and my experiences and help them, you know, perfect their craft a little bit more, because, you know, everyone, like you said, everyone was younger than me. I was the oldest one, so especially when we got the college guys, it's their first rookie year. Just wanted to instill in them how to be professional, and, you know, just the bond that we created with the DockHounds this year, you know, speaks volumes. We went on to our first postseason berth, and hopefully many more for the DockHounds.
Yeah, was there ever a moment for you where it clicked like, hey, I need to be a leader for this team, or maybe I can be a leader for this team?
Yeah, not really. It was more so just you kind of just, I guess, grew into it. It kind of happened naturally. You know, the guys started coming to ask me for advice and help with you know, pitching, personal lives, and I just kind of took it, you know, personally, and wanted to help them out.
And you mentioned it, there were a lot of young pitchers on this team, and one thing that was neat about this DockHounds squad was that there was a turning point in the middle of the year when there were a lot of younger arms who joined the staff, and that was when the team started to walk fewer batters, which was never the problem for you, as we'll talk about in a moment. But then all of a sudden, the walks, they went down, the ERA dropped significantly as well, and the team really started to win. What was it like for you seeing those new guys come in, helping them gel with the culture, and then, you know, being their leader?
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, just you know, haze them at the beginning a little bit, and, you know, make them feel like they were part of the team, you know, through better, for the worse. It was amazing. Yeah,
I'll never forget being in the clubhouse, because after we won, I would get road clubhouse quotes. When we lost, I didn't go bother the players. I was going to see them on the bus anyways. But I was down in there, and then you guys just grabbed, I believe it was Luke Cancel after he got his first win.
Yeah, it was in Fargo.
And then
Fargo, I think.
I thought it was Cleburne.
No, it was in, I think it was in Fargo.
Either way, you guys just grabbed him and took him to the clubhouse, and then showered him. You just turned the shower on, and he took a shower with his entire jersey on.
Yeah.
And that was your way of hazing him, and that was a moment that really stuck out, because he was a very quiet guy, reserved, did things his own way, and then all of a sudden you guys were like, nope, you're going to go in the shower in your entire uniform.
Yeah, one of the big traditions of professional baseball, when you get your first win in a professional setting, the guys on the team will throw you full uniform in the shower and just throw a bunch of stuff on you and, you know, celebrate with you. It's a cool experience. So it was nice to get those guys the professional experience straight out of college.
And then we mentioned it, you're from Vegas. You had never been to Wisconsin, or at least played here in Wisconsin, but now you're staying here this offseason. You met your girlfriend out here this season. What have your thoughts been on Oconomowoc and the Lake Country area?
I absolutely love it. Being from Vegas, this is the complete opposite, for one. It's a lot more peace and quiet. You know, the people have been amazing around here. The community's been amazing. It's, like I said, I met the love of my life out here, so I definitely am staying. Got to experience my first pumpkin patch, my first apple picking. Never did that. Our pumpkin patches in Vegas were a dirt lot with pumpkins on fake hay bales and next to a shopping mall.
It's a little bit different out here than the Mojave Desert, for sure. And There's also one key thing that happened this season was that you were injured. And, we don't want to talk about it too much, but your hamstring, it gave out very early in the season, and you pitched through it, and you pitched incredibly well, but then all of a sudden you couldn't pitch through it anymore. You missed a month. What was that experience like for you? Because you had to fight, and like you mentioned, you're 30 years old, now 31. Your body doesn't deal with injuries the same as what it did when it was 23. So how were you able to fight through that and then be able to deliver in large ways in the final month of the season to push the DockHounds to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was devastating to not be able to be out there on the field competing and going to battle with those guys. But I was able to at least be there in the dugout and support them. Every day I just came to the field, met with some of the best trainers I've ever had in my career, some of the best front office to help me get to the right facilities and the right treatment, and just keep pushing every day to get back to the team so that when I did get back at the later end of the season, I could at least try and help them and us get to the postseason. And we actually did. So.
And this is something that I don't think I ever asked you during the season, but it was something that actually one of our fans asked me last week when I said that you were going to be our guest on the show this week. But it was about pitching through an injury and pitching with an injury. Is your mentality different because at any pitch it could give out again, or you could start to feel it tweaking, or your leg just isn't there properly? What are you thinking when you're on the mound after that happens?
Ow. No, it's every pitch you're just like kind of hoping that it stays intact, especially the hamstring, because it was my land leg, so there's so much force being generated and absorbed on that leg that you just hope that it doesn't rip. And a couple of times it did, but the mentality was the same, not trying to think about it until there's something to think about, and just keep trying to execute pitches and get the hitters out.
It's the DockHaus Dialogue with Dom. Bryan Bonnell, DockHounds right-handed pitcher, our guest. If you want to grab beer or food during the show, please feel free. You'll be able to hear it. So will everyone else. Don't feel like you're distracting anyone by not getting anything from the bar. Sandy up there will take good care of you, as she always does. And Bryan, you got to pitch for 3 different major league organizations, the Washington Nationals most recently, Seattle Mariners, and you were drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays organization. What is it like going from organization to organization? Because all 3 of them, they're very different. Only one of them's won a World Series, and of course that was recently the Washington Nationals. The Rays, the Mariners, they have their own different ways because they don't play in as big of markets as DC. So what did you notice differently from those 3 MLB or MILB organizations that maybe the average fan doesn't realize?
Just the way they teach and go about developing pitchers or hitters. Everybody has their own philosophy, which is like in any other industry. Any other job has their own philosophy, to help their people. But that was the biggest thing. Different ideologies. Some of the organizations had older staff. Some of them had younger and more analytical staff. So it was mainly just about adjusting to what that organization was trying to preach and trying to let it help you in different ways. So I just took bits and pieces of each organization I was with and made it my own and created the pitcher that I ended up being.
Did you have a favorite stop along the way during your MILB journey?
Weirdly enough, my favorite place was Rochester, New York.
Okay.
It was like an old style, 18th century kind of a brick town, but it was right next to Niagara Falls. It was, it reminded me a lot like Wisconsin and Oconomowoc. It was, very tight-knit community. They wanted to be around us all the time. They had great breweries.
Got that here.
Yeah, exactly. So it was that one was an easy adjustment, and I felt right at home. I was kind of disappointed when that season ended, and I had some of the best memories and some of the best players that I got to play alongside were there, and then some of them are still my friends of the day.
And you had a great relationship this season with manager Ken Huckabee with the Lake Country DockHounds. Did you ever have a relationship like that with any of your coaches during your time in the minors, or was the relationship that you had with Huck going on boats with him on off days, being up at the front of the bus with him on pretty much every trip? Did you ever have that with any of your coaches previously?
No. independent ball compared to minor league ball is a lot different in that aspect. So what I found is that independent ball, the coaches are really about being where their feet are, and not to say that they're not in the minor leagues either, but they're also, their goal is to get to the big leagues just like we were. You know, that's so you don't really have an interaction with the coaches off the field as you did, like I did this year.
And it's also the fact that Huck recruited you. So
yeah,
there's that too.
So I had a personal relationship with Huck before I even came here, so I got to, you know, pick his brain about this team since he was here, the manager 2 years ago, and really decide if I wanted to come here. And then when I got here, we just kind of hit it off. Like you said, me being an older guy too helped, you know, be the guy that the coaches and the front office would come to for the team.
And then in 2021, the winter, you pitched in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
The following spring, you were in Mexico. And then this winter, so a little under a year ago, you were in the Dominican Republic. Those are the three countries that you have pitched in internationally. Just how different is it playing in a foreign country, especially a Latin country, as opposed to here in the United States?
It's a big culture shock. You know, just going there and just trying to order food when people don't speak English or kind of broken English, so kind of trying to communicate. It's a little bit hard, but you kind of gain appreciation for it. You start, pointing to menus like, I want that. Then I gained a lot of appreciation for like the small things that we take for granted, like warm water. Puerto Rico and the Dominican, I didn't take one hot shower the entire time I was there.
Oh.
Which cannot be fine because it can get up to hot 100 degrees with humidity over there. But it was just it took some time to get your bearings and find your routine and make it your own. But it was also nice that you're not there alone. You have other American guys that are experiencing the same thing, so you kind of form together and figure out the country with them. And then also the local guys, a lot of them speak English because they've been through the minor league system where you get taught English if you don't know it. And so they take care of you. They take you to local places. They take you to all the beaches. And so I got spoiled in my time abroad. But it was definitely a culture shock.
It's definitely on my bucket list to go to some Winter League and also some LMB games
so much fun.
in Mexico. And all of that forms a 10-year professional career, including 3 seasons at UNLV, which is in your hometown of Las Vegas. And I'm not sure how closely some of our fans follow our players on social media and whatnot, just because you guys are here for 100 games. Some of them get another season and you get more than 100 games. But Bryan, recently on Instagram, you announced that you are retiring from professional baseball. So congratulations to you on a fantastic 10-year career.
Thank you.
I mean, to get up to AAA, that's significantly further than a lot of baseball players go, and to be able to pitch internationally in 3 countries as well. How are you going to look back on it? I'm not sure if you've been able to reflect a whole lot because it's still relatively fresh in your mind, but how do you think you're going to reflect on it in, say, 5 years?
Well, I'll start with this. When I entered pro ball, my goal was to, when I finished, be able to lay down my head at night with no regrets and leave everything I had on the field. And so when I was thinking about retiring and trying to decide what I wanted to do next, I thought about that statement that I told myself my first year, and every single one of those boxes I could check. I laid everything I had on the field, left parts of my body out on the field.
Hamstring and all.
Yeah, hamstring and all, shoulder as well. I mean, my shoulder surgery didn't help too much. But I have no regrets, and that was the biggest thing. I remember a player once told me that when I first entered pro ball, and he said, you don't want to have any regrets. You want to look back on your career and be like, I did everything I could to get to the big leagues, to have the best career. Yeah, I didn't get to the big leagues, but I made it to the second highest level in all of the world, which I am beyond grateful and fortunate enough to say. So yeah, like I said, it was a great career, and I'm very happy, and I'm ready for the next chapter and the next challenge.
Yeah, what was the process like for you in determining, hey, I need to retire, or hey, I want to retire? Because obviously you had that injury, but you were able to start effectively for the DockHounds this year. You were the lowest walk per 9 on the team, which there were some really good pitchers in terms of control, especially towards the ends of the year. But also I know the fact that you came into the season saying, hey, if I can't make it happen, this is going to be it for me. But then all of a sudden you do pitch well for the DockHounds. What was that process like for you? Was it always just, hey, if I can get back, I'm going to get back, or if not, I'm going to hang it up? And then you also got to go out on a very high note, pitching very well in the DockHounds postseason game.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, it was just like, didn't want to have any regrets, and I looked back at my career and was very happy with it, and I didn't find anything else that I wanted to accomplish except for the big leagues, and I knew that with the way the game was kind of evolving and me getting older, then wasn't working too much in my favor. Yeah, I probably could have kept playing, and I love the game to death, and I would love to still play, but I was ready for something new, and after 10 years, it kind of drains you mentally and physically. So I was ready for the next chapter, whatever that may be. We're working on a few things now, so we'll figure that out and get after it like I did in my career.
Well, once again, congratulations. How do you shift that mentality to go from, hey, I need to train, I need to lift, I need to run, I need to be in that mindset that I can go out there and compete, to all of a sudden say, I now need to apply for jobs, I need to be able to work a 9 to 5. What is that shift in mentality like? I
would say, honestly, the mentality is not different. The drive and the competitive nature is actually the same, especially in the in the everyday workforce. The only difference is how much physically I'm putting in. Now it's more of brain power and work hours and stuff, but mentally, I don't think and haven't found that it's much different than playing. It's just a different field.
That's kind of surprising because that's actually not what I've heard from other players when they retire, or just at least once they get past their playing career. So that's really neat that you are able to find that. Is that what you envisioned, that you would be able to turn off player mode and activate work mode, even though you now realize that it's more of the same?
I honestly think it's more of the same. I think, the things that I've learned and the skills that I've gained in baseball will translate to the workforce, one way or another, and especially, say, like in a sales role where it's a competitive competitive world, and you're trying to win. I mean, there's no different.
And I know that you are looking for sales jobs at the moment. What about sales interests you?
The competitive nature. I mean,
all right, there you go.
Me versus someone else to try and get this deal. Let's go head to head. I'm going to win.
Well, I'm just entering the sales workforce now, working for the DockHounds. We've got group tickets available, season tickets available. So if anyone wants my business card, hit me up after this show. But I'll now give you the opportunity to sell yourself maybe to someone who could be hiring, either that's here tonight at the DockHouse or that's watching this on YouTube, because all of our shows are posted on YouTube, just in case you can't make them on these Wednesday nights. Why should someone hire Bryan Bonnell for a sales job?
Well, I've always been labeled as a 6'5", 230-pound right-handed pitcher that throws this and that, and I know that everything that I've gained in my skills and my knowledge that I've gained throughout baseball will translate into the sales job that I go into. I've gotten fortunate enough to work and play with a bunch of different teams and play with teammates that will always last and stick with my mind for the rest of my life. And I'm ready for the next challenge, the next competitive nature, and ready to take on any challenge.
And do you think the fact that you literally have to be on a team, I mean, it's called a team.
Yeah.
Some people, they work in other, representatives and all that, but you are on a team. Do you think the fact that you were a teammate and you had different teammates, I mean, not only throughout the year, but also every single year, every single season at each stop on the way, will allow you to be able to thrive no matter where you're located or where you have to do this job?
Yeah, each team that I was on, you meet and build relationships with every single person that was on that team. And like I said, some of those relationships are still with me to this day. And that's still going to translate to the sales job or whatever I do next. So I know it's going to be perfect.
Is there any relationship or any teammate that you had that really sticks out to you that maybe some of our fans or some of our listeners may know?
Actually, it was in this past year, Shelby Lackey. He was my locker mate, so we got to talk and really know each other, the ins and outs of our careers, and help each other in different ways. He's a couple years younger than me, so I got to give a little bit of knowledge and experience that I have. So we got really close this year, so close that me and my girlfriend are actually both in their wedding. So she's going to be a bridesmaid, I'll be a groomsman. And, you know, we don't take that for granted. It means a lot to us to have those guys in our lives, and yeah.
Yeah, I said it to you the other night. Pretty incredible that you two will be in their wedding when you met them in May. So we're looking at 6 months ago.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're going to be in their wedding, which is actually next month. So, Bryan, thank you so much for joining me on DockHaus Dialogue with Dom. Any parting words for the DockHounds fans, or just anything else you want to say about your playing career?
Yeah, I appreciate all you guys for coming out to the games this past year, being so supportive and watching us kick butt and make it our first postseason run. I hope you guys enjoy next season. I'll be in the stands with you, cheering on the teams and wearing them out. So let's go DockHounds.
Well, if you need season tickets, I know a guy. Just kidding. Please don't.
I love the sales pitch.
Yeah, well, it's always on. Sales pitch is always on. But, Bryan, thank you so much. Congratulations on a great career. Next week, we will be back. We will not be here the following week because that is Thanksgiving Eve. No, that's not a real thing. But next week, the scheduled guest is DockHounds pitching coach and former major leaguer Paul Wagner. So hopefully that will be enticing to be here at the DockHouse. And then we also have 3 shows planned for the month of December. Once again, beer and food available at the bar. And I know that Wine and Dine will be starting in 5 minutes. Bryan, what's your go-to wine? Because I know that you'll be participating in that.
Oh, I'm a big Prisoner fan. That's why we came.
All right, the Prisoner. Got so many events going on the rest of this offseason at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Bryan, thanks again.
Appreciate it.
And thank you to everyone who came out tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.